Hello friends, welcome to my channel. In this video, we shall deal with Maya Angelou's poem, When Great Trees Fall. This poem was written by Angelou in 1987 to mourn the death of a fellow poet, playwright and novelist James Baldwin. In this poem, she has used the metaphor of great trees falling to highlight the impact of his death. The poem is an elegy which expresses profound grief and highlights collective impact caused by the death of extraordinary individuals. In order to express the widespread impact of his death, she uses layered imagery, symbolic resonance, and philosophical reflection, signaling the loss to be not private but collective. The first stanza embodies collective shock and instinctive fear that is experienced by a sudden happening. Angelou effectively encapsulates how even big and strong animals are shaken by the incident through the line, lions hunker down in tall grasses and even elephants lumber after safety. Describing the impact on small things and animals, she says, the small things recoil into silence, with their senses eroded beyond fear. Now, here, the falling of trees is an extended metaphor for losing people who are of great importance or who are very much renowned in the society. They may include people who brought change in the society, who worked for the betterment of the community, or people who are loved and admired by many. It could also refer to people who are important and dear to you, and your life depends on them. For example, your parents. Just like how animals and birds and insects are impacted when huge trees fall, similarly, losing important and dear ones impacts us. Trees are necessary for the survival of animals and birds, and hence they are shaken, while important people are necessary for our heart and soul, and losing them create deep sorrow. By describing the reaction of big and small animals, she displays the fear and uncertainty that is triggered at the loss of our near and dear ones. So here, great trees symbolize important people in our lives, and rocks shudder symbolize the inner fear or how we are shaken when we encounter such an incident. The second stanza deals with the disorientation, silence that we experience at the loss of our beloved. The poem shifts from external environment to now internal psychological transformation. She says that the air around us becomes light, rare, and sterile, highlighting the feeling of emptiness that we experience at such a moment. She says, we breathe briefly, our eyes briefly see with a hurtful clarity, symbolizing deep sorrow that awakens amongst us, the state of complete shock. She further writes, our memory, suddenly sharpened, examines, gnaws on kind words unsaid, promised walks never taken. This aptly describes how grief triggers introspection. Memory examines us. Kind words unsaid become emotional burdens. To embody this state of deep sorrow, Angelou uses oxymoron and paradox. By use of oxymoron, that is hurtful clarity, she, she shows how we recognize truths we ignored when the person was alive. Through the paradox, promised walks never taken, she highlights the promises that remained unfulfilled, and they exert emotional burden now. They hurt us deeply, causing deep regret. The third stanza represents how reality crashes down upon us after the incident. We suddenly start to feel very lonely. We were dependent on these people for guidance, love, and emotional support. After they are gone, we begin to shrink, not physically, but emotionally and spiritually. Wizened means dried up or withered or reduced. So the poet says that without their nurturing presence, we become smaller, weak, and feel dried up inside. The line, our minds, formed and informed by their radiance, fall away, suggests that our minds and personalities were shaped by their goodness and wisdom and their influence. When they die, the structure of our mind, the confidence and stability they gave us, begin to collapse or fall apart. It means we feel mentally lost, confused, and destabilized because the person who shaped and guided us is no longer here. The last few lines of this stanza aptly depict how we become emotionally and mentally reduced, like people who are pushed back into dark, cold caves. That is, a state of confusion, fear, and helpless ignorance. The final stanza depicts how peace slowly returns, though not all at once. The empty spaces they leave behind gradually fill with a gentle, soothing energy that help us heal. Our senses and emotions recover, but never become exactly who we were before. Their memory softly reminds us that they truly lived and influenced us, inspiring us to continue living and to become better because they existed. The poet uses repetition in the lines they existed, to strongly emphasize the significance of their presence and the lasting impact they had on others. This repetition reinforces the idea that their lives continue to guide and inspire us even after their death. Thank you.